All right, and welcome to everybody that is following us on YouTube Live. This is K Haas from the Cuz Picks. I'm joined today by Court D, who just finished up a nice little Periscope for you guys. So what's up, Court?
Not much. How you doing? It's much nicer to be able to see you today as we got our Wi-Fi taken care of. We took the advice of one of our followers and we invested in some better Wi-Fi service. So thanks for watching and thanks for the tips.
Yeah, I have to say that a new modem was purchased for the K Haas household after yesterday's debacle. So let's get started right away. You just gave your kind of thoughts on Twitter. So I'm going to start off by disagreeing with you right away. I like Russell Westbrook tonight. 11,700. I know you said to fade him. They have the Heat. I heard your argument, number one against a point guard. I don't care. I think that Russell Westbrook is fade proof, if you will. I mean, he gave you 50-some points last game, and he didn't play the fourth quarter. He's that good. In a close game, look for him to dominate the ball and put up a lot of points. The floor is yours. Tell me why I shouldn't play him.
All right, so if anybody watched me, I'm going to fade Russell Westbrook tonight. The guy in the beginning of the year was straight money triple-double. All right, he's fallen off a little bit. I think other teams are kind of on to that he's the only guy there in OKC. I mean, who else do you have? You have Cantor, you have Adams, Sabonis, but none of those guys, Oladipo, none of those guys are Kevin Durant. So I think Russell Westbrook, I love the guy. I think he's a great player. I think his value point is closer to 10 grand. All right, he's going up against Miami's defense. That's the number one defense against opposing point guards. And you know what? They have 2 point guards that they're going to roll out there that are going to come in fresh, and I think they're going to be able to stick with Westbrook. But you know what? I have been wrong before. I hope for your sake I am on this as long as my guys also do well.
Well, we'll go to your next guy because I'm going to fade the guy that you gave next. But real quick, for our YouTube Live screw-up of the day, I just looked at our Twitter page. We posted it in Spanish, so hopefully we have some habla español out there.
¿Cómo está?
There you go. Anyway, you gave John Wall as your point guard, kind of your high-money point guard. I am fading him tonight. I know you gave the reasons. He's off of 2 days rest. He's been a beast lately. Here's my reason why not. I think Corey Brewer is a great defender. If you've seen the starting lineups, Corey Brewer is getting the start in place of Eric Bledsoe today, and that is strictly so that he can cover John Wall. Brewer is a long defender, so he can get up in his face. He's also quick enough to stay in front of him. So I think John Wall takes a bit of a hit just on Corey Brewer being a lockdown defender. Now, I don't think he's going to lock him down and shut him out, but I think he's going to hold him a little bit lower than what you're thinking, and that's why I'm fading John Wall. I had it down to Westbrook and Wall. Sounds like I went Westbrook instead of Wall. It sounds like you're going the other way.
Well, you know what? As my other point guard, since we are now in Spanish, I'm going to go Sergio Rodriguez. Nah, just kidding. I think he's a safe play, though. He's only going to get you 30. You know what? I'm okay with that. And like I said in the beginning of my broadcast, today was a tough slate for me. And I was dead set on fading Westbrook. But I was in a toss between Chris Paul and John Wall. I went Wall just because of the close game, the high pace, and we'll see what happens. And you know what? Even if you have a lockdown defender, I'm still hoping for 45-50. He doesn't need to kill it for me, but I hope I am going to kill it on my other guy, who was Langston Galloway. Here's a guy who it seems like he's taken over for Tim Frazier down there in New Orleans. The guy's had 28 and 30 minutes back-to-back. He's scoring anywhere between 20 and 30 Fanduel points that I will gladly take at 3,700. What do you think about Langston there?
I have a little bit of concern. One, I know he's splitting time with Tim Frazier. I know you talked about it's a 17-point spread, so there's some concerns about it getting out of hand. The other thing that concerns me is the signing of Archie Goodwin. So Archie Goodwin from the Suns fame last year when they had no other point guard, and he came in and kind of lit it up for a little bit. Archie Goodwin was signed, I believe it was either last night or this morning when they cut Lance Stevenson after Lance Stevenson is going to miss a couple weeks with an injury. So I know he just got signed and he's coming in, so I don't know how much time he takes. My concern, though, isn't a blowout that Goodwin might get in to get his legs and get used to the, running with the Pelicans. So a little bit of concern there. But again, you're not paying a lot for him. So even if he loses a couple minutes to Goodwin, I don't think it's that bad of a pick. That's just my one concern. And that's why I'm going elsewhere. I'm going to spend a little bit more money, and I'm going to go George Hill. Hayward came back, and they thought that maybe Hill and Hood, who I think is one of your picks, would lose a little bit on efficiency. Here's the thing. Hayward played the first game of the season yesterday. He's coming on a back-to-back. He doesn't have his legs yet. So I look for him to maybe not get as many minutes, maybe not be as effective as he was yesterday. And I think that means George Hill still has to score. Look at what the Sixers are giving up to point guards. Okay, George Hill is a scoring point guard. Your boy Sergio Rodriguez, I'll tell you what, I work with a guy that played with him over in Spain, name dropping again, plays no defense. He said, wait till you see him. You'll love him passing the ball and throwing everything. He has no desire to play defense whatsoever. So I'm going to stick with that and say Rodriguez gets a lot of minutes, and he goes with my boy and plays zero defense. And I think George Hill goes off tonight and actually will be a really good scorer. Hopefully 6 to 7 times value, which would give you about 40 Fanduel points.
You know what? I will say that I like George Hill tonight. The guy's averaging, I think 35 Fanduel points, is coming in around 6,500. He was one of my guys.
He's at 6,000 tonight.
Okay, there you go. So even with that, he's another guy that he was on my list along with Kemba Walker. But like I said, that's the joy of fantasy sports. You can't pick the best guy. You can't pick the guy you want. You have to try to fit him in price-wise.
So I think here for shooting guard, there's no argument. James Harden, we're playing him. You can't not play him. They're playing the Bullets. The over-under's the second highest of the night. Play James Harden. Don't be stupid. Don't get cute. He will burn you. Put him in your lineup. So I think we agree on that. So I'll jump down to my second one. Here's where I'm going to save some money. I'm going for $4,000. I'm going Buddy Hield. I love Buddy Hield coming out of Oklahoma. I love when he got shut down by Nova, too, being a Philly guy. But I think he can put up points. If you watch his last 2 games, he had his highest minute totals, and he also had his highest point outputs. So I think that he's starting to see the floor a little bit more. We just talked about with the Pelicans, Lance Stevenson being hurt. So there's maybe a couple more minutes he steps into. And the last thing is it's a 17-point spread. If it gets into a blowout or a shootout or whatever it is, and people are running up and down the court, I like Buddy Hield's chances of getting open threes and getting hot and stealing some points for you here at 4,000.
You know what? I think that's a great tournament pick. Buddy Hield 2 games ago gave you 29. Last time out, he got some playing time. He wasn't as productive. I don't remember what he did. But you know what? If you get that 29 performance out of Buddy Hield, I personally am hoping that those Lance Stevenson minutes go towards Terrence Jones. But you know what? Hey, it's a tournament, so I could get on board with Buddy Hield.
All right, and then you gave us Rodney Hood. So before you go over him, I don't know if you want to talk about him again. Here's my concern with him. Tonight's the last night. I think you use him for a while. Again, I talked about Hayward on the back-to-back. In Hayward's first game back, Hood's number of shots was down. His production didn't go down, but his number of shots went down. There's not as many shots going around with Hayward back. Now, tonight, I don't think that's an issue. I had Hood as one of my potentials as a good play tonight. Use him while you can, because I think going forward, Hayward's back. Alec Burke is close to getting back, so you're not going to be able to play Hood much longer and get that production out of him. So if you like him tonight, definitely use him, but just watch him moving forward.
You know what? That's a good point. One thing that I think we always get burned on, everybody out there that does fantasy sports, is you look at these so-called experts with who's in, who's out, who's playing, who's going to get what minutes. I saw one report today that said that Hayward was playing. Another report today said that he was going to be out. I'm banking on him being out. So I went with Rodney Hood because I think that the Sixers game is going to be very underplayed just because it is only 193 over-under. So I'm hoping that Hood gets in there, does well. One guy that I have here, as I mentioned a few other plays I had in mind, is actually Klay Thompson. I think that Klay has kind of been getting the short end of the stick up there in Golden State. But for some reason, I want to keep an eye on Klay Thompson because he's another guy that he can shoot. And he seems to get a little more time running with the twos once the other guys take a rest. So I'm sticking with Hood. But another guy out there to just look at or maybe think about might be Klay Thompson.
I think he's a good tournament play because he can go off any night. I don't know that his floor is as high as it used to be with Durant taking some of those shots, especially not early in the season. They like to get a lot of minutes to guys like Ian Clark out there this time of the season. Once you get in full swing, those guys aren't going to see the floor, and I think Thompson becomes more of a big-time cash play. But right now, I think for a tournament, any given night, he can go off, and if he goes off at his price, I mean, that's a huge, huge score for you.
Yeah.
I'll switch over now to small forwards. My small forwards, I'm going to start and give you a value play here. I mentioned Corey Brewer. He's going to see a big uptick in minutes tonight because he's going to be covering John Wall. I'm fading Wall because I think Brewer's going to do a nice job on him, which puts Brewer on the floor probably more minutes tonight than Eric Bledsoe. At least that's what I'm hoping for. So he's coming in at the very bottom, 3,500. Brewer's a sneaky guy. He'll get you a couple steals. I mean, let's face it, Wall's going to turn the ball over even if he has a good night. So he's going to get you some steals, some assists. He's long. He can rebound. Corey Brewer has a couple sneaky high-scoring games in him, though. I'm hoping tonight is it. I'm not sure if it is. I think, his floor is good. He's going to be on the court. He fills up the stat sheet. I think he has a small opportunity. Again, I'm looking for a tournament play to boom out and score some points. And how can you beat that at 3,500? I think he gives you his floor of about 18 to 20. I think he gives you a ceiling of 30 Fanduel points, which is 10 times value, would be an amazing play in a tournament play.
Yeah, especially when you're looking at a high-paced, high-scoring game that's only a 1.5-point spread. You always hope for the overtime, and if Brewer's out there, and if he's doing what you think he's going to be doing, and they deploy him to try to lock down Wall, he's looking at 35, 40 minutes potentially. So you know what? At 3,500, it's not too bad. My guy that I was going with was Terrence Jones. So like I said, I hit him. Yeah, he's another guy. He's a tournament play. He could be hot. He could be not. There's only one way to find out, and that's to put your money where your mouth is and roll it out.
Do you think that he'll lose? Interrupt you. Do you think he'll lose some minutes with Dante Cunningham coming back from suspension?
You know what? That was something that I looked at. I don't think so, because I think that if Davis moves down to the 5, you're going to see Jones playing a little more 4. I think that he gives you a higher upside than Cunningham, and that's my straight tournament pick. If I was doing, you have Solomon Hill, you have Dante Cunningham, you have those other guys that mix and match with New Orleans. But for me, I'm going to ride the hot hand, and I'm going to ride Terrence Jones. Hopefully he showed something out there, and they give him a shot.
The other 3 I like is Justise Winslow. You mentioned him on your Periscope. You're kind of back and forth with him and somebody else. He's a good solid 25 Fanduel points. I mean, he hits his average. Every now and then he might give you more points and give you a little bit of a high score for him. I like the matchup tonight. The Heat, it's an over-under on that game. It's 203. So it's not a great over-under, but I think it's a close game. I think Westbrook's, again, I like Westbrook. I think he's going to score. I think they're going to need to find somebody to score. I don't think Dragic is going to go off today. So hopefully Winslow picks up some scoring points, and that could boost him up above his floor of 25 points.
I'm with you there on Winslow. Winslow has been up and down. He's averaging 24, which is 5 times value right there. So if you have him in there, and if he overperforms, you're setting up with a base of 300. And as you guys that follow know that I've been hitting, scores that you wouldn't think would be doing awesome, but when you're playing the cash games, a 300, a 310, a 320, they're all going to do well for you. So I'm good with Winslow there too. Same reason.
All right, so that takes us to our power forwards, and thank you for everybody sticking with us. I know we're going a little long. Normally, I don't get to go on with Court D here during the day, so we figured we would go back and forth and make up for our NFL debacle yesterday. So thanks for sticking with us. So power forward, I'm fading Anthony Davis. I know you like him. You're boom or bust, and you hope he booms. He scored 75 Fanduel points against the Warriors last time, so why would I fade him? Here's why. He was only at about 40, maybe 45 Fanduel points until the last 10-minute spurt where he just went off. They kept him in check most of the game. I think this is blowout potential written all over it, and I think Anthony Davis is going to get sat in the fourth quarter. I don't see him reaching his full potential. So I'm going to replace him with Blake Griffin, the next guy down. Blake Griffin had a big game last time out. He led them with 28 points against the Spurs. 28 scoring points, that is, not FanDuel points. He's looking for high 30s in FanDuel points. I think he's a very solid play. So I'm looking for some of my lower costing guys to boom or bust. I think Griffin is a solid play. So I'm going to fade Davis tonight and go with Griffin. You can give us a case for Davis.
Well, Davis he can give you 29 to 90. All right. He's shown that in just, 6 games this year so far. And you know what? I do think that the only way that New Orleans can keep the game close is if Davis does one of his big performances. Last time out, I was kind of looking, what Draymond Green do? Wondering if he could, really, really hold Davis down. But you know what? Davis can go off on that 10-minute streak at any point of the game. So I'm hoping that he rises up. He has kind of underperformed the last few games. So you know what? I'm going tournament, and I'm bringing out the big gun, and I'm going with Anthony Davis on that.
So if you do go Davis or if you go Griffin or whoever, you need to save some money. So I got 2 more guys. Usually I only give you 2 at power forward, but there's 2 that I'm using in different lineups. The first one is a stretch. I mean, he might be 0.01% owned. You might be the only person that has him in your tournament.
Is it K-Hass?
It's not. Could be. I would actually go with Kevin Looney. So Kevin Looney is a second-year player. He's a backup. I don't even know if he's a backup. You could say third-string power forward for the Golden State Warriors. I know Durant is taking some of the backup when they take out Green. Durant slides down to the 4 and they go small. I think Looney, he's a rebounder. He's a very, very good rebounder who's starting to see more time. He's gotten 16 FanDuel points in the last 2 games, and here's the surprising thing. He's known as a very efficient rebounder. The last 2 games, he's been scoring. He wasn't thought to be much of an offensive threat, but he's starting to score the ball, and they're starting to look at him as maybe this guy can come out and do more than just rebound. I think that, if you look on FanDuel and you click on his name, it says, they're impressed with his offense. They're looking to give him maybe more minutes, but they're hard to come by. I agree with all that. I know I'm not telling you anything you can't read, but here's where I think is different tonight. I think it's a blowout. And if it's a blowout, why not give him an extended run and see if he can't put up some of those points and build off of those last 2 games? So I hope he gets a couple extra minutes. I'm telling you, don't play this in a cash game. But if you're looking to really go for some big names in a tournament, Kevin Looney at 3,500, I think is one to go with. The other one you could use in a cash game is Ersan Ilyasova for the Sixers. Since going to the Sixers, I mean, he's been scoring. He dropped 21 for them last game. He's been putting the ball in the hoop. He's been on the floor with Embiid. Even if he's on the floor with Okafor, he can spread the floor. He's a 4 that can step out and stick the 3. So I think for 3,800, why not roll with him? He could get you 20 to 30, probably 25 to 30 FanDuel points at a 3,800 price tag in a low-played Jazz Sixers game. So there's not gonna be a lot of guys on him because that over/under is low. But let's face it, outside of Rodriguez, Embiid, and Okafor, who else can score for the Sixers? It's got to be Ilyasova. All right. So those are my 2 kind of value plays there at power forward.
And you know what? I'm telling you, I like that pick, and I don't know if you're going to agree with me tonight, but I am telling anybody that's out there trying to put money on the NBA to go with the Sixers. All right, 7-point dogs at home. I think they are going to win this game outright. They need a win, and I think that Brett Brown is starting to feel some of the heat. This is we're trusting the process, but the process is over. We need to start seeing some wins. We're not again.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I just do have to say, though, if you see another Sixers meltdown, you will be seeing the hashtag fire Brett Brown all over Husbick's page, because I was ready for it at the end of last year, and he is coached absolutely awful. I agree with everything you said, except for Brett Brown's going to step up, because I'm incredibly embarrassed with him as a coach. And I know Brett Brown. Brett Brown actually, I don't know him. Brett Brown sent me a handwritten letter to recruit me out to a college when I was getting recruited. Obviously, right then and there, his value of talent was awful. He was recruiting me. But yeah, he's Brett Brown. Give me a break. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, hey, I'm going to follow that up with if Brett Brown wants to win today, he's going to have to give Joel Embiid time on the floor. The guy he is the process, all right? He is the reason why Sixers fans have been in complete misery. And I'm not even going to talk about Ben Simmons yet because we haven't seen Ben Simmons yet. But I'll give you a hint. The very first game that Simmons and Embiid are on the floor, if you don't put those two in every single lineup on FanDuel, you're going to be sorry, all right? Embiid is the man. 39% usage rate, only behind Russell Westbrook. He's right up there with James Harden. All right, so you give this guy a little more time on the floor, 25 minutes, 26 minutes. The guy is doing something with every minute he's out there, every possession he's out there. All right, he's going to go beast tonight. Look for him to, get his minutes. Look for him to do a double-double, and I'm talking a big double-double. I'm talking 25-15 potential out of this guy. So that's my last play of the game, and I'm leaving out with that, saying at $5,000, if he does what I just said, you are winning in every lineup you put in.
I have to agree. Embiid is my center. There's no better value today. There isn't. There's some good centers playing. Hassan Whiteside costs a lot of money. He's not going to give you the value that Embiid does. Embiid's going to give you 6 times value. I really think his floor is now establishing right around 30 FanDuel points, which is amazing for a floor for a guy with 5,000. He even snuck in an extra 2 minutes because Brett Brown couldn't count to 24, and he got 26 minutes last game. You can tell how much I'm just really on Brett Brown right now. To go with some other picks, though, you had mentioned that you like the Sixers. I do like the Sixers. I like a couple road teams to go and just win on the road. The Rockets right now are getting 1.5 from the Wizards. I think the Rockets win outright. I would go money line on them. I would also go money line on the Indiana Pacers. I think they go into Charlotte, and I think they beat him today. Just an injury concern to look for. Marvin Williams right now is a game-time decision. If he's out, go Frank Kaminsky. His minutes are going to go up, and he's going to score for you. He'll be a great value play. I was really thinking about him for this. I might change it later if Marvin Williams goes out, but I want to see whether he's playing or not before I go with Frank Kaminsky. But I do think the Hornets struggled tonight, and I would go with, if I'm just picking games, I'd go with the Rockets and the Pacers to win on the road outright.
Yeah, and that's the thing. If you guys follow me normally, you see me around this time. You normally don't see K Haas until the dinner time drive, the afternoon drive, 5:30 or so. And you know what? That's a lot of things can change in 5 hours. All right. So we usually don't post our lineups until around 6 o'clock, 5:30, 6 o'clock for that reason. Marvin Williams has a virus. All right. I've had a cold before, 24-hour stomach virus, and I've also been laid up by the flu. All right. You don't know what it is. You don't know how bad it is. You don't know how much IV they're pumping into this guy. You don't know what he's going to be at game time. But that's also a huge thing. If he's out, that frees up 25 minutes of play. And you know what? I think Spencer Hawes is going to benefit. I think Frank Kaminsky is going to benefit. So, yeah, it's something to tune in a little bit later on and keep live with us. We're with you guys all the way up till game time.
And I think the Pacers benefit, which is why I'm playing them, because I do like Marvin Williams. He's a good player. Not a great FanDuel player. I think he's a good all-around player, though. All right, well, thank you guys for joining us. I'm going to try to get on and do a Periscope around 5:30. I got a crazy night tonight, though. Lots of furniture delivery. So we're upgrading. Hey, next time we're YouTube live from K Haas's house. We're gonna have new modem, new furniture. I mean, it's gonna be a whole new thing. So if I don't get on tonight, good luck. I hope you guys win some money. Check back. We'll definitely be posting lineups. The third cuz is gonna throw out 2 or 3 lineups at you, at 6:55 or whenever he gets online. But we'll have the lineups up. Steal them, borrow from them, ignore them. I don't care what you do, but I hope you win some money.
And you know what? No matter what you do, shout us out, spread the word, and let's go from there. The cuz is winning. He's getting new furniture. He's getting new modem. He's living large. Look at him. He's got beard growing in.
That's because of the first place finish the other night. That's what's paying for all this stuff. Yeah, the beard. Hey, I see you shaved. It's no shave November. I'm a little disappointed. By the end of November, I'll be looking like Santa Claus. You can see the gray there.
Yeah, that was my problem. I was getting my wing juice stuck in my beard the other night and figured, you know what? I had to take a bath after eating my wings. Figured it was time to trim it down.
Yes. All right, then. So on that note, what better time to go than that? Subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Cuz Picks. Follow us on Twitter, The Cuz Picks, and we'll see you guys later.
All right. See ya.